There's a city where a $6 plastic chair can serve better food than a five-star restaurant. A city where golden temples stand hidden behind giant LED billboards. Where Lamborghini dealerships sit just a few streets away from markets that haven't changed in decades. Bangkok doesn't slowly introduce itself to you. It hits you immediately. The heat, the noise, the smell of chili, smoke, gasoline, and rain mixing together in the air. One second, you're inside an air-conditioned luxury mall that feels futuristic. The next, you're lost in a narrow alley lit by flickering neon signs and food stalls cooking over open fire. And somehow, that contrast is exactly what makes this city addictive. Because Bangkok never feels fake. It never feels staged for tourists. Life here moves fast, really fast. Street vendors yell over the sound of motorbikes. Boats race through canals like highways on water. Entire streets transform when the sun goes down. And the craziest part? At first it feels overwhelming, but after a while, the chaos starts making sense. That's when Bangkok gets dangerous. Because the moment you finally understand its rhythm, you don't want to leave anymore. Tonight we're diving into hidden streets, rooftop nights, insane food spots, and the side of Bangkok most travelers never really see. This isn't the postcard version of the city. This is Bangkok after dark, Bangkok at sunrise, Bangkok in the rain. The real Bangkok. And trust me, what happens next only gets crazier. Bangkok isn't the kind of city you slowly fall in love with. It grabs you immediately. The moment you step outside, you feel it. The humidity hanging heavy in the air. The sound of scooters echoing through every street. The smell of grilled meat, incense, gasoline, and spices colliding all at once. It's overwhelming for about 5 minutes. And then somehow, it becomes exciting. From above, the city looks endless. Skyscrapers rising through the haze. Old neighborhoods squeezed between giant glass towers. Boats moving across the Khao Phraya River like the city's bloodstream. Bangkok feels like 10 different worlds happening at the same time. One moment, you're standing barefoot inside a silent golden temple, hearing nothing except the wind and distant chanting. The next, you're hanging onto the side of a tuk-tuk, flying through traffic at midnight, while neon lights flash across your face in pink and electric blue. And somehow, both versions of the city feel completely normal here. More than 10 million people call Bangkok home. But nobody seems to move in the same rhythm. Street vendors calmly cook noodles beside businessmen sprinting for trains. Monks walk silently through crowds of tourists, filming everything on their phones. Luxury cars stop beside rusty motorbikes carrying entire families. Bangkok never fully slows down. Even at 3 a.m., it feels like something is about to happen. And maybe that's why people become obsessed with this city. Because Bangkok doesn't feel polished. It feels alive. The streets of Bangkok don't feel organized. They feel explosive. Every corner pulls your attention somewhere else. A man cooking noodles over open fire. A hidden cafe behind a mechanic shop. A tiny market packed beneath tangled electrical wires that somehow hold the entire city together. Nothing here feels planned, yet everything works. Food carts appear out of nowhere. Plastic tables unfold onto sidewalks in seconds. Tiny stools become full restaurants before you even realize what's happening, and the energy never stops moving. Scooters squeeze through impossible gaps. Vendors shout orders over sizzling pans. Tourists look completely lost while locals move through the chaos like it's second nature. And then there's the smell. Sweet mango, charcoal smoke, fresh lime, spicy chili burning in the air, rain hitting hot concrete after a storm. Bangkok doesn't try to impress people with perfection. It doesn't need to. Because the city's real magic lives inside the chaos. And once it pulls you in, you start realizing you don't actually want the noise to stop. Then suddenly, Bangkok changes completely. The noise fades. The traffic disappears behind ancient walls. And for the first time in the city, everything slows down. Walking into the Grand Palace feels almost unreal. Every surface reflects light. Gold covers rooftops, towers, statues, doors. Tiny details are carved into places most people would never even notice. It doesn't feel like a normal landmark. It feels cinematic, like stepping into a world that shouldn't still exist in modern times. And the strange part is, no matter how crowded it gets, there's still this feeling of silence underneath everything. You hear soft footsteps, the sound of bells moving in the wind, quiet prayers echoing through the temples. For a moment, Bangkok stops racing. Then there's Wat Arun. And honestly, pictures don't prepare you for it, especially at sunset. As the sky turns orange and purple, the entire temple starts glowing beside the river. Boats drift slowly past. The city skyline lights up in the distance. It's one of those moments that doesn't feel real until you're standing there yourself. But what makes Bangkok unforgettable isn't just the beauty of these places. It's the contrast. Outside the temple gates, chaos, honking scooters, street vendors yelling, heat rising from the pavement. Inside, complete calm. And somehow, both worlds exist only a few steps apart. That's Bangkok, a city constantly switching between madness and peace. Now let's talk about the reason people become obsessed with Bangkok. The food, not fancy restaurants, not expensive tasting menus. The real Bangkok food scene lives on the streets. Tiny stalls, plastic chairs, smoke rising into the night air. And somehow, some of the best meals you'll ever eat happen right here on the sidewalk. Pad Thai cooked over a blazing fire in under 30 seconds. Spicy basil chicken served on paper plates at 2 in the morning. Fresh mango sticky rice covered in sweet coconut sauce that honestly doesn't even feel real the first time you try it. But the crazy thing about Bangkok street food is that the places with the worst-looking signs usually have the best food. Sometimes there's no menu, no English, no official restaurant name, just one old wok, a long line of locals, and generations of recipes being cooked the exact same way for decades. That's how you know the food is going to be incredible. And in Bangkok, eating isn't just part of the trip. It becomes the adventure itself. Every alley smells different. Every market has its own specialty. Every night feels like discovering something new. So if you ever come here, forget the travel guides for a second. Just follow the crowds and trust the smoke. But Bangkok truly comes alive after dark. The second the sun disappears, the city transforms into something completely different. Neon lights reflect off rain-soaked streets. Music echoes from rooftops high above the skyline. Smoke rises from food stalls that somehow feel even busier at midnight than during the day. And everywhere you look, something is happening. Luxury rooftop bars fill the sky with glowing infinity pools and views that stretch forever. Down below, night markets explode with energy. People bargain over sneakers, vintage clothes, fake designer bags, grilled squid, fresh fruit, and things nobody actually planned to buy. The city feels endless at night. You turn one corner and find a hidden jazz bar behind an unmarked door. Another corner leads to a tiny alley packed with locals drinking beer on plastic stools under flickering lights. And then there's Khao San Road, the most chaotic street in Bangkok. Some travelers absolutely love it. Others leave after 10 minutes. But nobody forgets it. The street feels like controlled madness. Music from different bars crashes together into one giant wall of sound. Tourists dance in the middle of the road. Street vendors sell everything from pad thai to scorpions on sticks. And somehow, the energy keeps getting louder as the night goes on. It's messy. It's overcrowded. It makes no sense. And somehow, that chaos becomes addictive. Because Bangkok at night doesn't try to be elegant. It just wants you to feel alive. But what surprises most people about Bangkok isn't the nightlife, or even the food. It's the contrasts. This city constantly feels like two completely different realities colliding together. One minute, you're inside a futuristic luxury mall filled with designer stores, supercars, and giant digital screens. 10 minutes later, you're sitting in a tiny alley eating noodles beside a grandmother, using a recipe older than modern Thailand itself. Bangkok changes block by block. You'll see million-dollar condos rising above old wooden houses that look untouched by time. Tiny spiritual shrines hidden between giant office towers. Lamborghinis parked outside street markets covered in tangled electrical wires. Nothing should fit together here, but somehow, it does. And then there's the weather. One second, the streets are dry and crowded. The next, tropical rain crashes down so hard the entire city seems to disappear behind water and neon reflections. People don't panic. They just keep moving. That's the thing about Bangkok. The city doesn't stop for chaos. Chaos is part of the rhythm. And maybe that's why travelers become obsessed with this place. Because Bangkok constantly surprises you. just when you think you understand it. The city shows you another side nobody warned you about. Bangkok isn't perfect. It's loud, hot, crowded, sometimes completely exhausting. But maybe that's exactly why this city stays with people forever. Because Bangkok never feels artificial. It doesn't try to hide the chaos. It turns that chaos into life. And after a few days here, you stop fighting the noise. You stop trying to control the experience. You simply let the city carry you. Long after you leave, small moments come back to you. The sound of tuk-tuks racing through the streets at midnight, the smell of chili and smoke drifting through hidden alleyways, the glow of neon lights reflecting on wet pavement after the rain, and the feeling that every corner of Bangkok had another story waiting behind it. This city never truly sleeps, and honestly, after experiencing it for yourself, you may never want it to. This was Bangkok, and this is the City Journey. See you in the next city.